Okay, here we are, day after President's Day, and we're going to continue on factoring by grouping. So our Friday lesson was to do factoring sum and difference of cubes. Normally we do these on the same day, but because we had so many people gone on Friday, I slowed down. We did not cover that. So what makes factoring by grouping different than the others is if you look at a common factor or a greatest common factor, you might say, well, hey, I'm going to take an x out of everything. But an x doesn't come out of everything, does it? Because you got that 40. And then you might say, well, I'm going to take an x, or I'll take a 2 out of everything. You can take 2 out of 40, you can take 2 out of 4, 2 out of 10, but you can't take 2 out of x cubed, can you? And so sometimes what we do is we group two things together. Namely, I'm going to group together the x cubed and the x squared, and then negative 10x squared. I'll group together the 4x and the negative 40. And then what I do is I look at them and I say, well, what is the common factor just for this part? What's the common factor just there? X squared. If I take out x squared, what's going to remain? X minus 10. And then what's the common factor we can extract here? 4. And you're left with? Now, here's what kind of gives people a little bit of a struggle, and I'm going to do my very best to teach this, but I want to be clear that only about 50% of students seem to see this right away, okay? So about 50% of students, even though I show this, they don't see it. So please try to watch. This is very similar to x squared y plus 4y. You guys see that the only difference between these two expressions is that here I have a y, whereas here I have an x minus 10. What's the common factor here? Y. And when you take out the y, and I'm going to write it in parentheses like that, when you take out the y, you're left with y times x squared plus 4. So instead of taking out y, what's the common factor here? X minus 10. Just like you took a y out here, you're going to take an x minus 10 out here. And you're left with x squared plus 4. And that's factoring by grouping. All right, the next one is very similar to what we just did. The biggest difference is that instead of a plus 4x, you have a minus 4y here. And that's a problem. You should never do what I'm going to do right now. You should never put a parenthesis here and here, and then here and here. And the reason why is, what is the value of the 16? Is it positive or is it negative? It's positive. But if I do this, isn't the value of that 16 all of a sudden negative? Because when you distribute it, yeah, and that's a big problem. So don't do that. Instead, do this. Good morning. Y cubed minus 4y squared plus negative 4y plus 16. So never put a parenthesis down in front of a subtraction sign. Never, ever do that. It will change the value of the rest of the terms. So now that I have addition, I can put my parenthesis in front. What is the common factor that you can remove here? I can take out y squared, and what are you left with? Y minus 4. What is the common factor you can take out here? Negative 4. So minus 4, and you'd be left with positive y minus 4. So factoring by grouping involves taking out common factors twice. So I took out the common factor here with y squared with negative 4, but now what's the common factor you can take out? Y minus 4. Very good. And when you take it out, what are you left with? Y squared minus 4. Now what you'll have to recognize on the test is that this is completely factored, but this is not completely factored. Y squared minus 4 factors because it's the difference of two squares. So y minus 4 times y plus 2 times y minus 2, the difference of two squares factors. So we spent the last week and a half reviewing factoring methods. This used to be kind of a whole quarter for you in different classes, but this is a review. It's not something new, so hopefully it clicks for you. You can see that the factoring, sum and difference of cubes, the answer key is right here, and grouping is right on the other side. So you could go ahead and work through that, check those answers. I believe all the answer keys should be posted up here. I'm going to go make copies of your study guide so I can hand it out to you, and I'll be back to answer questions, okay?